Social media and also who are listening to us. Exclusive interview with the Deputy Chief Mediator of the ongoing Tumaini Peace Initiative happening in the Kenyan capital, Nairobi. And I'm joined in the mini studio here by Ambassador Dr. Muhammad Guyo. It's good to have you with us here in our mini studio. Welcome, Ambassador.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel.
Yes. Ambassador, the discussion last month was actually adjourned for a few days, and it was officially resumed. It resumed actually on Monday this week. So can you briefly summarize to us how was the resumption and where are we from the Tumaini process in general?
We started the process last year, the second phase of resumption of negotiation in November. And we continued until around 14th of December when the government requested to go for consultations on a few issues. So it also coincided with the Christmas break. So we gave time for consultation, and our resumption for this year started just on Monday. And so far, we are doing well. We have done consultation with the government delegation as well as also with the opposition, just to tie a few housekeeping issues here and there in order to now delve into substantive issues. We have had also a joint session with both the government and the opposition. So far, as mediation, we are happy. Yesterday, the government got opportunity to present their position on key elements of the draft framework for Tumaini Consensus Complement Araxis, which we gave to the parties sometimes in December. So we expect the opposition to also take time to give their comprehensive response tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Not today?
Not today, tomorrow at 10 a.m. Today we'll reserve for some consultation with the parties throughout the day.
And when you're talking about government position, what are we referring to? I understand it's about 7-page document, but we have not yet officially seen it.
Yes, it is basically the government position. It focuses mainly on the 8 protocols which were negotiated last year by the previous government delegation, and they were primarily nothing outside, primarily focusing on those protocols. So it's a government position which the opposition will respond to tomorrow.
And I understand part of the agendas was actually the issue of the relationship between the Tumaini and the Revitalized Peace Agreement. We're talking about also the issue of repetition, contradiction, and mechanisms between the Tumaini and also the the Revitalized Peace Agreement, as well as we'll go after that to power sharing or responsibility sharing, and then the conclusion. Is this still in play?
Yes, you realize that all those elements of agenda that you have highlighted are part of the draft framework that we gave to the parties. And the parties are, by and large, talking to the same 4 agenda items you mentioned, including also, of course, the responsibility sharing, which is one of the protocols that is still outstanding, as well as also providing opportunity for the parties to give us their outlook for when the agreement will be signed. It's also part of the framework that we provided to the parties.
Right, and I understand, Ambassador, previously the position was rejecting actually to listen to the position of the government. But then it's a good news actually yesterday that they listened to the position of the government. How did you bridge that gap as the mediation?
Well, the opposition they did not actually reject to listen to the position of the government. It was the mediation that felt that certain technicalities needs to be put in place so that we don't, go back in a reverse gear rather than going forward. So in the wisdom and knowledge of the mediation, we decided to guide the parties on the way forward rather than on the way backward. So this is therefore it's an understanding which we have now all reached. we're happy that yesterday we had a full house with all of us listening to the government position on the protocols.
And how are you as the mediation dealing with the concern of the government that there are so many provisions in the initial protocols of the Tumaini are actually, or they are already mentioned, or they are already existing in the revitalized peace agreement. So there's no need actually to add them. And the government rapporteur also mentioned some of the mechanisms, for instance.
Yes, the two sides, that is the government and the opposition, negotiated this over the last 4 months or so, between April and August last year. So all those packaged in the protocols were referenced to the R-axis, as well as also a new addition, which was also brought on board. In law, there is no harm in emphasizing points. So making reference is also one of the key issues, the best practice, to emphasize, to make reference, and therefore there is no harm as long as it doesn't nothing violates sovereignty, territorial integrity, political independence, and unity of the Republic of South Sudan. Then every other thing can actually be put in perspective. It can be negotiated. So it's now up to the parties to deal with this matter on how they can compromise and have a win-win solution to this.
Right. And what's your view on the concern of the government, also of the SOMA or the opposition, rebranding into United People's Alliance?
Well, we've dealt with that issue extensively. Actually, the first day when we met, the whole day was consumed by government wanting to understand, to be clarified that this is not an organization that will disrupt the peace and the stability in South Sudan. So it was clarified by the opposition. By the way, we are very happy with the way the two sides sought clarification, provided response, and finally, it was agreed that the new outfit can be utilized by the opposition. Although, again, the government was also concerned by the fact that previously the opposition negotiated under SOMA and other opposition group. Where will that now leave the whole negotiation? But these are matters of procedures, technicalities. This one can be dealt with. For us, as mediation, we don't see this as a highly substantive matter.
Yeah. And how long will this process take? I mean, the resumption with the Tumaini. People are yearning for lasting peace in South Sudan. And they are hoping that the process will end as soon as possible.
Everything, Emmanuel, will depend on the political and goodwill of the parties. This process can as well end within the next 72 hours, depending on the parties. We have done, more or less made significant progress in putting together the protocols. What we are doing now is to focus on these protocols. And for sure, nothing new from outside is there. So if it's a matter of revising, negotiating, realigning things here and there within the protocols, then the parties should be in a position to do it within the few hours, days, and all this depend on the goodwill, on political will, on prioritizing the people of South Sudan rather than sticking to the position of the parties. So as mediation, we have advised both parties to focus on the lives and livelihood of the people of South Sudan, on the prosperity and vision of South Sudan, to have good governance, to have peace and stability, to be counted as one of the beacon of hope and stability in the region. And to that effect, we have advised them to focus on the interest of the people of South Sudan rather than their own respective positions.
So that means with the government presenting its position on the initial protocols yesterday, we're expecting the opposition to respond tomorrow. Does that mean that you have the initial protocols have already been reopened again for discussion.
Well, as I said, we provided the parties with a framework, a draft framework, last year, December, and therefore the parties are now focusing and responding to all the elements of the draft framework. So the draft framework actually has what is regarded as contentious issues from the government side and what is regarded as contentious issue from the opposition side. Therefore, when they speak in a broad sense or whatever sense, in a narrow sense and so on, they will be speaking to the draft framework. From there, then the mediation will be able to see how we can deal together with the parties. And their ownership is very important, their leadership on how we can package all these contentious issues and have a win-win solution. They will guide us, we'll guide them, so we'll be accompanying each other on this.
Right. And there's a concern about other holdout groups who are not part of the Tumaini Peace Initiative. People are calling on for the inclusion of people like General Thomas Cirillo, Simon Gatwij, Emmanuel Ajawin, and among many others. Now, as the deputy head of the chief mediator, what would you say in that regard? Because this is what many people back home in South Sudan are actually calling for.
One of the key principles of Tumaini Initiative is based on inclusivity. Inclusivity in a broad sense to ensure that the parties, that is the government and the oppositions, are fully included, as well as also the stakeholders, primarily. Now, in terms of the parties, we have done our own mapping, and it's clear that we have General Thomas Cirillo, for instance, Ambassador Emmanuel Ajawin, General Gatwij. We have reached out to all of them. The President of the Republic of Kenya has reached out to General Thomas Cirillo and Ambassador Emmanuel Ajawin, and all these parties, both in writing and in all other available communication. And for ourselves, for example, myself and the chief mediator, we have also engaged all these parties to ensure that the process become inclusive, so that we have a one-stop shop to resolve all these outstanding issues. We have not lost hope. We are still engaging them continuously. We are doing it ourselves directly, as well as also through back channel. Other partners are also assisting us to reach out to them. So the ones that we are able to bring on board, we have done that. They are with us here. These are parties who are outside the Rome negotiation. Some of them are here with us, but we will continue to reach out to the remaining group so that we are all a full house negotiating and delivering this peace as comprehensive as possible, and also, as the government of South Sudan said, as the last peace negotiation that will be conducted outside South Sudan.
Well, what are they saying? You've been reaching out to them. What are they saying?
They have raised one or two issues that we have, of course, put in place. Substantive issues. That part we are happy about, because in terms of substantive issues of the negotiation, we've gone by what they to understand how far the opposition has gone with responding to the government position. So this is just a matter of some administrative, more of administrative, and then of course also
negotiation after peace negotiation. The issue of accommodation, and people want to go for election back home there. So what would you tell them to have hope that the
Tumaini Peace Initiative is a continuation of the previous engagement with the opposition group under Sent'Egidio. You will recall that IGAD group so that they are brought on board and be part of the nation building, state building in South Sudan. Therefore, this is exactly they are here, and therefore we envisage our priority is how to deal with the security and the stability as one.
Radio.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Emmanuel. Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.